The first video I made on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I was about 10 hours-ish in and had only just basically stuck within the grasslands and maybe, I think, gotten through the Mithril mines into the Junon area. And now I am just a little over 25 hours in and have just only gotten to the Golden Saucer, and every single minute of this game blows my mind. This game is so damn good. And yes, I intended on making 3 videos of my journey through this game, much like Square Enix are making 3 games to recreate my favourite game of all time. And they are succeeding. The Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth combo that we currently have is on par with the original Final Fantasy VII for my favourite game of all time, and I cannot wait for the third part of Final Fantasy VII. I don't know. I'm guessing it's gonna be called Reunion, just from obviously all the Sephiroth clones constantly banging on about the Reunion. I'm guessing because they got Remake, Rebirth. It makes sense. Reunion, Retribution, something along those lines, probably. However, this game is just jam-packed full of stuff. This game is putting mostly nearly every single game that's been released recently to shame in terms of its production quality, its content, its attention to detail, everything. No, it's not super perfect. I have noticed some texture pop-ins here and there and some muddy textures just off to the side, but they're nothing major at all in the slightest. And yes, I am slightly biased because I'm a Final Fantasy man and Final Fantasy VII is my favourite game ever, so you gotta bear that one in mind. And I understand not everyone is going to like it. Yes, there are a ton of mini-games in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I do not see that as a negative whatsoever. I see that as a massive positive because it adds, it breaks up the gameplay and adds in new things for you to do and work towards to get new rewards. When I started playing the game, I saw basically the bare minimum on trailers and stuff. I stayed away, and I am glad I did. I cannot believe how much they've expanded this area, like the Coral region, for example, outside of Costa del Sol, which I had a great time in, doing the mini-games there, which is pretty cool. Not to mention, I forgot in my first video, the fact that you've got all this crafting stuff and you've got the piano music that you can play with the left and right sticks, which can be a little fiddly at times. Luckily I'm a musician, so the timing thing is like fine for me, but it can just be a little bit fiddly. You've got to kind of split your eyes like a chameleon to look at both of the things. I mean, that's what I tend to find, because I end up focusing on one for the right stick, and then the left stick I can see it moving, and I'm like, oh shit, and then I got to do something with that. But apart from that, I really enjoyed that, because the music in this, obviously remixes of the original soundtrack, but is just absolutely amazing. And the mini games are great. The character interactions specifically are absolutely top tier. Yuffie coming in, obviously we got to play as her in the intergrade couple of chapters that we had at the end of the remake, but here now where she's part of the crew, and her inclusion in the slight variation on the story where she was sent out, to do what she did at Junon, I thought was all good and well done. I don't mind people changing things for a remake, because what they're doing is not taking anything away from the original, they're just adding to it. The only thing that I'm like, I can do without is the Zack stuff, the alternate reality stuff. I said that in my first video as well. I mean, I don't dislike Zack. I've played Crisis Core, I liked Crisis Core, but I think his story is done, and Final Fantasy VII's is Cloud's, and I know Cloud is troubled, but I think that the Zack stuff, unless they're working towards some kind of spin-off game with Zack or alternate reality version of 7, I don't know. God knows what's going on behind the scenes. But everything in this game took everything from the original that was even small and just blew it way out of proportion. Just insanely scaled. There are only 5 side quests per area, but those 5 side quests seem quite well thought out, which I prefer over like millions of standard fetch quests or whatnot. I quite like them, and like even the like Coral town where Barrett is from has just been expanded upon, and the amount of cutscenes and story, and I could gush about this game for hours. I really could. But all I've got to say is, like I said, I've only just got to the Golden Saucer. Like not even done the Golden Saucer, underneath the Golden Saucer. I know I've got the other side of the Coral region to explore as well. There's also Cosmo Canyon. I know, like, I've only just met Cait Sith in the game, and I know he's playable. I did research to see if Cid and Vincent were playable, and unfortunately they're not, which I was like, oh, I was kind of looking forward to playing as Vincent, but obviously I'm guessing that everyone is then going to be playable in the final part, which I cannot wait for, because once that is out, I personally look at all 3 of the games as just one complete game for me, and I hope they release an edition, which is just a complete edition. That would be so cool to play through them like properly in order. You probably only have to have one part installed at a time because they are meaty games, especially Rebirth. But all the different gameplay elements they've put into Rebirth, like when you're going through the coal mines, excuse me, and you have to, you can go on the minecart with Barrett and shoot and use Yuffie's throwing star thing to attack other boxes, and they've put in a grappling hook mechanic for doing certain things, getting to new areas and whatnot. This is all really cool stuff. I don't know what people's problems are with the minigames. They break it up. Yes, you do have to do some of them for the story. I get that. I can understand why being forced to do some of them may annoy some people. I get it. But in an RPG, especially an RPG of this scope and scale, they're just there and they're cool. Like, I plan on spending like a good few hours inside of the Golden Saucer doing all the mini games, mainly to get the trophies, but also to have fun, because I know what to expect. I know that the snowboarding one isn't part of it from the original game, which is a shame. I'm guessing that'll be added in the 3rd part, but I think I may have mentioned this in my first video, but I can clearly see where most of the assets of Square Enix have gone over the years, and it is towards this game, which I'm very grateful for, because don't get me wrong, I really, really liked Final Fantasy 16. I champion Final Fantasy 16, but there is no comparison between 16 and 7 Rebirth at all in the slightest. I like them both, and I've got the DLC to do for Final Fantasy 16, but Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth has just more of everything in it, and it is absolutely insane. Maybe next time, when they want to do Final Fantasy 17, make sure that Final Fantasy 7 Remake, the trilogy, is completely done, and then pour all your assets into 17 to make Final Fantasy 17 absolutely incredible. That might be a good shout, but but seriously, I am so excited to do the other half of, or the last half of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I can't imagine that video is going to be coming out anytime within the next week or so, because I'm taking my time, I'm not rushing through the game, I am enjoying every single minute of it, and I'm constantly playing this with a smile on my face. Please let me know in the comments if you are like me, or if you're someone who the game just didn't do it for you. I mean, it is obviously different in many ways from the original one. It's not turn-based and all that. I think the combat is fantastic here. But please let me know in the comments your thoughts, and as always, thank you very much for watching.
We're done!
What a team!